Intro to Forms, the great secret of freehand drawing. If you are weary of instrumental perspective, prepare yourself.
We're doing freehand!
We're not done with theory, but we've covered a lot. Picture planes and plan projections helped us see how perspective works. Now let's get to practical drawing. We don't need to project a plan to foreshorten an arm. We know that the arm is this long. So when it comes toward us, why not just foreshorten the arm?
I don't know how!
Learn how at proko.com/perspective. Most art students don't know how. That's why using forms is a secret. But if you've made it this far, it's a secret you know and that you'll soon use to draw like a pro. Bernie Wrightson drew as a pro in his 20s. And yet, he told a group of my students that he, quote, didn't learn perspective, unquote. One wonders. Bernie Wrightson learned to draw with simple forms, the figures of solid geometry. That's practical perspective. It's what you are now ready to master. Control of forms. Let's remind ourselves what you are here to learn. The kind of drawing where we can foreshorten without doing a projection by turning a limb into forms. The kind of drawing where we can change positions without having to copy a pose by seeing all parts as forms. The kind of drawing where we can make an imaginary creature look convincing without even shading by treating its body as form. General to specific. I showed you a simple approach, a blob to start, sort of cylindrical, with one rubber band to establish which end is closer, a general position. We make it specific with corners to block it up. Now we've established our spatial axes. Then we carve out some portions and add on some others. Skill with forms lets us draw anything that's made of forms. If you want to be able to draw forms freely, this boxing and building is the skill to develop, counterintuitive as it may seem. It's an old way of thinking that takes time to turn into habit, but when we can do it, it spares us the limit of only one viewpoint or feeling weighed down with copying reference. It gives us the freedom to freehand from all sorts of viewpoints and make up an object in any position. That is practical perspective, the classic language of drawing. When I was a kid, a teacher on TV named John Nagy taught this, but I never learned it. I had my eyes on the styles of artists I love that I didn't know used the same drawing language. It's been the training of many an artist for hundreds of years. If these finished images with their stylistic skills seem a long way from boxes and blobs, cylinders and spheres, here's what we're sure of. Simplified form is the building block know-how of making things up we can't see. Now I know. So do you. Lessons from a master. Winsor McCay drew cartoons using lots of perspective. Let's learn from him. Winsor, how important is it to understand the figures of solid geometry?
It is fundamentally important to understand the figures of solid geometry from every angle.
Why?
If you can draw a sphere, you can draw automobile wheels. If you can draw a cube, you can easily adapt it to the shape of an automobile.
That's what I keep saying. If you were teaching, how would you train students?
If I were teaching, I would set up a cone, a sphere, a cylinder, and a cube before my pupils and say, draw nothing but these things for the next 2 months. When you have learned to draw them well, you will be able to draw anything, including cartoons.
Thank you, Windsor.
You're welcome, Marshall.
Oh, that was great. Windsor drew cartoons. Okay, lesson plan. 2 months, maybe 3, on the simplified forms. We'll start with the cube, more than 1 episode. You will learn every line. Then we'll return to grids using some instruments, measuring heights and proportions by tracking their sizes around in environments. Then we will move into curved and complex forms. But remember, the secret to mastering complex perspective is to master the primitive basics and put things together. In fact, guess who Bernie Wrightson first studied drawing from? Who'd have known that this would lead to this? Your training in art. Okay, let's look at how perspective helps you in your art. It's one tool. It's the skill of understanding the world in depth and drawing what you imagine. You now know a good deal about how it works. Instruments, basic theory and useful tricks, orthos and axes, the picture plane, how to project from flat drawings to 3D precisely. All of the stuff we learned in Part 1. I recommend that you start there. It includes our many reviews and timely critiques of student work that I think you'll be impressed with and inspired by. Beginners, pros, and every level in between in an involved community. It's all there in the premium lessons for Part 1. Here we're about to enter Part 2 with its own premium lessons, mastering form, measuring depth, curves, and complexity. We will still use instruments, but mainly to understand technicalities that will build your freehand skills so you can draw with a skill set that artists have mastered for centuries even before they had your favorite videos. Yay! Starting soon.